Hi everyone, my name's Claire.
And I'm John.
And today's article is called Justice for Wishma. I don't know if you have heard about this case. Maybe that name, Wishma, sounds familiar. It has been pretty big news lately. But let's deal with her very tragic case in a few minutes. So let's gather a bit of background knowledge before we jump in. Do you know much about Sri Lanka?
I know that it is the mythical place of, what was it? The temple in the mountains where the Fountain of Youth is and where all the, like a bunch of gold is and these very enlightened monks are. Really? I think, at least according to movies I've watched.
I see. This is sort of their mythology, perhaps, or their history?
So, no.
I see.
I think it was the movie that was like, hey, Sri Lanka's a great place to put this thing.
I see.
To answer the question even in more detail, I know very little about Sri Lanka. I know that there were some labor disputes at one point.
We had an article on that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's pretty much it in the end. Yeah.
Yes, I remember a few articles about the disputes and then the government corruption. I think did they storm the government buildings or something, and the prime minister had to flee, or the president had to flee? Somebody
There's a bunch of
and the huge economic crisis.
Yes.
Yeah, massive crash. And that situation is actually connected to this article, this issue as well. Right. Of course, it's worth mentioning one of the reasons Sri Lanka is suffering so much and has so much political instability is because it used to be a British colony, and we left it in an absolute mess after draining it of its resources, turning it into a massive tea plantation.
How dare you?
Yes.
America has never done something like that.
You would never dare. But anyway, yes. But actually, this is a separate issue. It happened in America. Connected but separate. But anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
So Wishma was an immigrant, not from Sri Lanka to Japan. Does your country have many immigrants from Sri Lanka?
Oh, okay. I was like, immigrants? Yes.
Oh, sorry,
from Sri Lanka, probably not that many. I'm sure there are. It's just, it's a number that's not on the probably even top 50. You know, it's not a huge number.
I imagine they're more likely to come to the UK. I bet, because again, people from former colonies have an easier time getting the visa.
Yeah. You've done so good to let them come easier.
Yeah, haven't we been nice? Yeah, after we ruined their country, the least we could do is let them in a little bit.
Let them pay
easier.
less to enter the country. Wonderful.
Great.
Well, isn't America a former colony? Shouldn't I be able to go to England easier?
You can.
Yay!
It is easier for you guys.
I'm glad that we have that benefit as the impoverished Americans that we are.
Seeking refuge in the UK.
Anyways.
Anyway, enough foolery. Let's get down to the serious issue and maybe learn something important about Wishma.
Justice for Wishma. Wishma Sandarmali went to Japan to study in 2017, but had a series of problems and lost her visa. She stayed in Japan and worked illegally because her native Sri Lanka was facing economic collapse at the time. Her boyfriend became abusive, and instead of helping, police arrested her. In custody, Wishma's health deteriorated. She begged to be taken to a hospital, but detention center staff ignored her request and she died. Now, her sisters are suing the Japanese government.